Where is it? There it is. I love this. Barbenheimer.
Wow.
Oh, I had not seen that.
I've not seen that
That's
one.
awesome.
That's a good one.
I want that movie, man. The hell with a weekend. I want that film right there.
Barbie, you seen explosions go off?
Barbie is an explosion. Look at this, Barbenheimer. There's some more, man.
That's the one I was talking about.
Damn, these are good, man.
Yeah. And people have
Eisenheimer.
been just like taking the regular Oppenheimer and they've been doing Inspector Gadget.
Nice. Very nice, man.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's what I saw right there. No,
On
go
the bottom.
below. Yeah, that one.
Oh, these are great, man. These are great. You know what? I can get my Oppenheimer on, I think. I think I can. It's going to be hot as hell, but I think I can.
Oh, hell no.
I did it.
Look like you're ready to teach a class.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to blow up the world right now.
Professor Oppenheimer right
Professor Colemanheimer up in here.
Let me see that hat.
You want a hat too?
Let me see.
But you want to be Rostaheimer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be
There you go.
Dreadheimer. Oh, this is a little ass.
Dreadheimer. Perfect.
Ta-da.
Wearing it sideways. Like a Laurel and Hardy looking ass.
It's like you're not wearing it. It's just on top of your head.
On top of the head.
Just place it on there.
Sideways.
I'll take it though.
Shaking his head.
I'll take it though, man.
Fuck it.
That's all sideways
I
now.
know.
You don't want to turn around.
It's backwards.
There you go. You just like a homeless dude.
I
Man.
know, this shit look even worse.
Wear it like you want to, but keep it on since it's over there. Now you got to keep it.
Normally he's not wearing it. He's holding it, looking for a handout.
Yeah, there you go. A hobo is what you look like.
Hoboheimer.
Hoboheimer over here.
Somebody said T-Pain.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our review of this much highly anticipated film right here from this director who has almost a cult-like following, and that would be Christopher Nolan.
The one and only.
One and only.
The GOAT.
Yeah, they say this man can film anything and people show up for it because anything that he films, people say is pretty incredible. And you know, the man just doesn't make movies. He makes puzzles.
He makes cinema.
No, he makes puzzles.
Okay,
Cinema. Cinema I can go and watch. It just Christopher Nolan movies, I gotta go figure out.
You gotta bring a magnifying glass.
Rewatch the movie a couple times.
When I go see a Christopher Nolan film, that shit might as well be a college class. I gotta come home, I gotta do homework and gotta write down and read shit to figure out what's going on. And it's probably no different with this movie right here, which is Oppenheimer, which is about J. Robert Oppenheimer. They call him the father of the nuclear age. They said the man who will destroy us all right here. That's why he got out while the getting was good. Actually died of throat cancer. I mean, you see the cigarette right there. The thing he died in 46, y'all? But, you know, this is a guy that also ushered in the nuclear age, created the bomb that, well, at least his involvement led up to the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. And, you know, a lot of people say anybody that has that kind of power just in his knowledge is a tremendous figure. Must be known about, must be talked about, must be figured out. And Christopher Nolan said, I'm just the man to do it because, you know, I don't make short movies. So, you know, you're going to know everything about this man by the time it's done.
You're going to sit your head down and watch this.
3 hours long. And believe me, I'm sure that there's a 6-hour cut out there of Oppenheimer.
God.
But this film right here has some amazing actors in it. Now you have Cillian Murphy here, who has been in 6 Christopher Nolan movies, but this is the one where he's never led in these movies before. He's never been a lead. Mm-hmm. This is the one where he actually plays the title character of J. Robert Oppenheimer. And as I was saying, you know, Christopher Nolan, listen, for better or for worse, this man has a fan base for all of his films because all of his films, say what you will about his movies, just like we were talking about with the Barbie movie, everything that he makes, at least he's trying to say something.
The man definitely has a vision, and he definitely shows that he knows what he's doing.
People, when they think of Oppenheimer and they're talking about this movie where he is creating the bomb, a lot of people think they're going to come and see just an action film of explosions. You know, they gonna see one. They're gonna see one boom and bang after another. But this being Christopher Nolan, we know that is not what we're gonna get from this. What do we get? Let's go ahead and get into this trailer, and then we'll get into a review, and we'll tell you what we think about Oppenheimer.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves. And the world is not prepared.
Christopher Nolan had some groundwork already established for him to work with. Well, you know, the man existed. For one thing, you know,
Story was already written.
He had a story. His story is already written, but his story was already written in a book, American Prometheus: The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer. And let me just say this, man. Now, I'm not exactly sure what people are expecting from this movie. You know, Christopher Nolan has given us some great fantasy and science fiction films. You know, giving us some great thrillers. But again, this is a biography. It's a biopic, and
A period piece.
and a period piece. And I'm not sure what. Like I said, I don't know if y'all expecting bombs to be going off every 30 minutes in here because this man, you know, made the bomb. But I also read a headline. Somebody already sent me a review. Now, before I go into these reviews, I don't try to read other people's reviews. I try to go in kind of cold. I don't want to be influenced. Not that I really am, but I just don't want to read anything. But somebody already sent me something. The headline said, and I'm paraphrasing here, the headline said that this is the biggest spectacle on the big screen of all humankind, or something like that. I'm not exaggerating all that much.
That sounds like
of all humanity.
That sounds like a slight against Tom Cruise. It's like, yeah, I've seen you, whatever, jumping off a bike and killing a train, but are you a bomb?
Listen, let me tell y'all something, man. I disagree. I disagree highly. You know, this movie is about it's a bunch of people talking. It ain't no spectacle. Now, there's some moments in here where, you know, we see things through Oppenheimer's mind and through his eyes and through his, you know, the images in his head. You know, we have moments where a bomb does go off and it's glorious on the screen. But, you know, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, you're right. That's spectacle. This is people sitting in a room. All right. These are people sitting at parties. These are people sitting, you know, in classrooms talking. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. I think it's great that this is not spectacle. All right, it shouldn't be.
I say it shouldn't be. Yeah.
You know, you'll be over glorifying something that doesn't need to be. This doesn't need to be spectacle. It's great cinematography. It's not spectacle, okay? But that's a good thing. This is actually more political. So when people go see this, don't expect, again, this to be some sort of big thriller or anything like that. Yeah. This is very much more political. This is about Oppenheimer's loyalty to his country, and often his character, and the morals that he has being called into question. You know, he has a history with the Communist Party, which has had different meanings throughout history, but has definitely always been feared and used as a political weapon by politicians. And so, him having any slight history with the Communist Party has brought his character into question. And most of the movie's about that. Forget that he created something that could probably destroy, you know, all humanity, all life on Earth. He did serve his country, and then later he's brought in for very much political reasons. Also, his morality is being brought into question because this, again, it's kind of fascinating because of his service for the country. You know, he did play a role in the Manhattan Project, a major role in the Manhattan Project. And that led to the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima, and thus ushering in the whole big nuclear age that we have here. Again, he's considered to be the father of the bomb, the father of the nuclear age. With this being so political as it is, and not heavy on spectacle, as someone has said, I don't even get that. I disagree with it highly, but it reminds me more of an Oliver Stone film. An Oliver Stone film with Christopher Nolan visuals.
Yeah, because it's very
I saw
art.
a flash of light in bushes.
Gonna be okay, Dave. You just talk to us on the record and we'll protect you.
That's JFK, right there, directed by Oliver Stone. This reminded me more of JFK with less action, actually. You know, and again, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I like the approach that they took here. You know, I'm learning about a fascinating subject. I'm learning about a very important part in history. I love learning about Oppenheimer's personal life. You know, I went in thinking that he was some science geek. Turns out he's a hoe.
Hell yeah, he's a hoe.
He turns out my man was a freak, man.
Julian Green's like, this is my hero.
Hell yeah, like, look at him.
Yeah, he's
so inspirational.
You talking about the bomb? He's dropping that bomb on that ass on a lot of people in this movie, man. He was a freak. He was on the down low with a lot of things.
He was so inspirational.
Not gay or anything, but maybe I don't know. But on the movie, he was creeping all the time.
Hell yes. I said that's what I want to be like when I grow up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I might not be science minded like that. I might not make any big gains in science, but I can lay a bomb like he can on that ass. You know, it was fascinating to learn about this guy. My criticisms, I don't want it to seem like I have a short attention span or I don't appreciate this movie. You know, I don't see the greatness behind the film. I don't see the passion behind the director of this, you know, with Nolan in this movie, you know, of making this film right here. But as I said, being that it's political, there's a lot of talking in this movie. And like I said, it's often people sitting in one room. Actually, for the majority of the film, they cut back to that one room.
Yeah, they cut back and forth.
And we're talking about a 3-hour movie right here. And I felt that 3 hours by the end.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Like after, like me, you talked about it. After that 2-hour mark, I started really kind of feeling it. And I was like, oh, this movie is really dragging. And oh my goodness, I just wish they would have cut like at least 20, 30 minutes off of this movie.
I'm gonna be one of those people who's gonna get criticized by people who love Christopher Nolan or people who love this movie. But I agree with you on this.
Yes.
I think that this needed to be cut a little short. It don't
need to be 3 hours.
I think this would have been a masterpiece at 1:45.
Yeah, like this story does not need to be 3 hours. If you really, really think about it, you know?
I think it loses focus in the last 40 minutes because are we allowed to talk about the use, like the black and white and what that represents? Like in the movie?
Yeah.
Because when the movie's in color, that's from Oppenheimer's point of view.
Right.
When it shifts to black and white, that's when what's it called? Strauss, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, is talking to Congress, and it's kind of playing from his perspective. And I read that as the movie kind of doing this thing. It's like, this is where in Oppenheimer in the real world, and this in black and white, this is kind of, you know, where things are black and white, you know, like there's no in between.
Okay, off y'all who are saying, you know, let me just say this. Fuck to people who are saying, you know, don't be in, and see, this is why people hate people like you who watch these films, man, because, you know, you sit up here and criticize and you say, I can't take the 3 hours. You criticize a movie fairly for being, you know, I didn't say other people couldn't like it or other people didn't get it. Don't sit up here and call it stupid because we don't say I have the same opinion as you. Stupid, okay? It's hours and we felt like we felt the time. Did you see the goddamn film? No, not everybody's a kiss this movie's ass right here. So, because some people in the chat talking about, somebody's talking about one thing in the chat talking about, think is hard. Oh, you intellectual lightweight. Y'all, intellectual lightweights is somebody can't take somebody else's opinion, or you haven't seen the movie, and because they're not thinking because the same as you, because you're already ready to kiss this movie's ass, that they're dumb. Y'all the dumb one right here.
How dare us try to give them an honest perspective on this work of art?
Right.
How dare
We're
us?
all not gonna think the same way. We all have different opinions.
And it's not because anybody doesn't get it, okay? Because the thing, like I said, I like the approach of them being very intellectual with this. I'm glad it's not something where, you know, they're trying to give explosions every 30 minutes. We were talking about how great the dialogue is in the movie.
There is a
dialogue standout.
The film's tone is incredibly classy, and it feels like a classic film. Like, Oppenheimer is truly like a great protagonist. Like, he is written to be seen in a movie. And all the exposition that comes out through this dialogue is really cleverly done. And it's done in a way that is digestible, I think, for mainstream audiences. That's one of the most impressive things about the movie.
Yeah. Maybe I should stop and be like, man, the movie was slow. I didn't get all that.
Where were the titties?
Yeah, exactly. You know, because listen, there are a lot of things that I think, even with the talking, I appreciate that they're not, again, trying to make this something where, you know, it's, because we see a lot of biopics. They change a lot of things to make it entertaining. Christopher Nolan's not doing that. Christopher Nolan is very much engaging in the intellectual side of this film. But there's many ways that he makes this movie engaging, even with all the talking. And one of the ways that he does this is with the cast. The cast in this movie we have it's a big cast, first of all.
Huge
And
cast, yeah.
It's a huge cast. It's a big cast, and they're all big names. And there's not one good performance among them. They're all great. They're all great performances. Cillian Murphy, man, as I said, this is the first time he's been a lead in a Christopher Nolan movie. And this guy is going to be nominated for an Academy Award. I guarantee you right now that he is. He's excellent. The way he changes his demeanor as he grows older in the movie. His voice changes.
And the way that they portray him, and something that we were talking about earlier today, is like just the way that he's lit. There are certain scenes where you see the character going through a visual transition, and I swear that they casted him based on the shape of his face. Because there's a scene in the movie where he comes out of like the darkness, and his face is lit like a skull.
Yeah.
Like he looks like the Grim Reaper.
Like he's bringing death.
Exactly. And it is awesome.
There's so many other actors in the movie that I love too. Now, I saw Josh Hartnett. I know Josh Hartnett has not quit acting or retired. I just hadn't seen some of the stuff that he's done in the past. And here he is right here. And I forgot what show this is, but this is not him in Oppenheimer. This is him in Oppenheimer.
Like he's dancing.
Yeah, he's skipping along. Going to make a boom. He's Josh Hartnett, after seeing him in Black Mirror and now seeing him in this, continues to impress me as one of the better actors, one of the best actors we have out there right now. Director Benny Safdie plays Edward Teller.
Phenomenal.
Great.
Oh yeah, great job. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the guy that directed one of my favorite movies, A Good Time. Yeah, he's great in this. He's a director, but he's also an actor, and he was very good in this, man. It's good to see Robert Downey Jr. not wearing an Iron Man suit for once. He's Louis Strauss. He plays one of the more important roles in the movie. Yeah. But look, it's Robert Downey Jr. He's great.
He's going for an Oscar, I feel like, with that.
Well, he's got some competition with Matt Damon. Matt Damon plays General Leslie Groves, who's over the project of building the bomb that they're going to first launch. Where was the Los Alamos?
Los Alamos. Yeah.
A city that they built just to test this bomb. He's over the project, and Matt Damon, this is one of his best performances, man. And all this is attributed to a guy who's not only smart with the material, but a man who's also great with actors. A director who's great with actors.
Right.
He brought a lot of out of Matt Damon here, man.
He brings all their A games out.
No, he does.
Yeah, the whole movie is very cohesive. Like the acting is amazing, the writing is amazing, but the visuals, like the lighting in the movie is really above and beyond. Like there's subtle things that they did with Josh Hartnett that showed because he worked for the university, and because of something they did, there was like some oil on his head and there was a light shining on it. I was like, man, he kind of looks like a cyborg. Like I don't know if that was intentional, but that's what I saw when I was seeing it.
It's hard to tell sometimes because everything has meaning. You feel like in this movie, from the lighting,
absolutely,
to
down to the mise en scène. Like when
the
there's smoke and like the reflections in people's glasses, there is meaning that can be read into all of it.
And I tell y'all, man, if for people who love the Dark Knight, I got to bring up the Dark Knight because one of my favorites. Plus, also the Dark Knight. You see, there are certain things in here from the Dark Knight that you see here.
It has that je ne sais quoi.
Well, no, hold on, let me finish, man. Let me finish.
Sorry.
This is what we talked about earlier. But I will ask you this: who scored this?
I didn't look it up, but I imagine that it was Hans Zimmer.
Okay, I don't know if it's Hans Zimmer who did this. If it is, or if it isn't, it sounded very much like that. For anybody who's seen The Dark Knight, that music that they used at the beginning of the film during the heist, and you know what I'm talking about. That score that you hear at the heist at the beginning, and it's not Hans Zimmer that did it. I forgot. This is probably the first movie that he hasn't scored for. Christopher Nolan. That intensity of that score that you hear right there, is for most of this movie.
Literally,
like
yeah.
for 3 hours, he uses this tone of score throughout the film, and it works. And it actually it heightens and it adds to the tension. And at first, I thought this is gonna get on my nerves to keep this up, but it did not. It did not.
No, it didn't bother me.
It was hardly noticeable.
No, not at all. Except because it went so well with what the rest of the film. There's a stress level that's supposed to be building through this whole film, and that score just adds to it. Another great performance, but something that we talked about that could also be a criticism. Emily Blunt as Oppenheimer's wife. She was great. I thought she was great enough to where I thought they did the character a disservice, because I think we need to learn more about her. Emily Blunt gets better and better as this movie goes along for me. And there's a point where I don't think they explored her enough, or the personal life of Oppenheimer enough with her, because there's a point where they say that they insinuate she's an alcoholic, but they don't really go into that.
No, they don't go deep into that at all.
No.
It's just with props, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, but her performance, how emotional it was, like how much heartwarming it was watching her on the screen.
Well,
truly, she was phenomenal.
It's easy to take a character for granted, because she's the one that is really keeping him stable. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's going through a lot, obviously a lot of pressure, and I think even the movie kind of downplays how important her role was. His wife, what role was in his life, and just keeping him kind of stable. And there'll be a lot of talk about how amazing this is on IMAX, and it is. It is. But like I said, man, it's not anything that's like I said, it's mostly people talking. And I will say this, and it's not to undercut anything in this film. And anything will look good on IMAX with excellent cinematography. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not, and again, that's not, and they do have great cinematography here. And it's not because it's just shot well. There's a lot of creativity in the visuals. They have a lot of scenes here to reflect how Oppenheimer feels just by the cinematography. There are points where the camera is right up on his face, and they do this thing where he's talking, and while he's talking, he's saying one thing, and the whole time the background just starts buzzing and vibrating to show that he has a lot of self-conflict in what he's saying. He's trying to be a propaganda person for selling, this science, but he knows the destructive power of it, and he's just kind of like, this is bullshit, man. I don't really like what I'm saying, and he's arguing with people, and they mix in nuclear explosions with the arguments to show like how literally these arguments are getting heated. They do a lot with the cinematography to show again how the stress level of the movie builds. So again, it's not anything where it's spectacle that works on the big screen. It's creative decisions to show emotions and emotional states of characters that really work well on the IMAX screen. But is it necessary for IMAX? I'm gonna say no. You don't need it. I don't know. How do you feel?
There's no big grand shots, I don't think. Like there's maybe a handful of them near the end and in the middle of the movie, but there's no point like where you're like, wow, I had to see this in IMAX. Like a lot of it is, like you said, it's like a small room.
Yeah. See the IMAX just because of the sound design that the film presents.
The sound mixing and the sound design and editing will scare the shit out of you.
Shit loud.
I'm gonna tell you, the hell with these horror movies out here. Oppenheimer is the biggest jump scares I got in the movie this year.
Yeah.
There was a moment where there was a flash of light and the bomb went off, and it was quiet.
Yes.
And I sat up there and I just kind of got lost because there's a whole scene of just silence and nothing going on. And I sat up there and I said, I need to pick up some eggs. I need to get some turkey meat. I need to get some. And I was like, shit. It was like, it just came out of nowhere. Martin was sitting next to me. I saw Martin's ass. Martin went this high out of his seat, man. It
does hit you out of nowhere.
Yeah, the sound editing on this movie and the sound mixing is amazing.
Some of the best I've heard.
Very effective.
Yes.
And it uses different sounds in unexpected ways, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And as great as all this is, I hate to bring it back to it, but it's that 3 hours that really undercuts everything for me here. because it created patches in here of a lull where I felt those lulls, man. And I still knew, and there was one moment I said, we still got an hour and 20 minutes to go.
Look at your watch. Oh no.
Yeah. And I hate saying that because I don't think this is self-indulgent. You know, I can feel the love from Nolan for this, you know, this story here. But it definitely could have been cut shorter to where I think this could have been cut into a show. But then again, we wouldn't have seen, you know, his vision on the big screen like he wanted. And if that's the case, then we could have cut the movie shorter. And, you know, I say that because, you know, it's not even just the length of it that's bothering me. It's like, I think near the end, there was a big moment, a key moment in the movie with a key character. And it felt that it was rushed in.
Definitely. There's so much story that the movie's trying to get across that it throws in something. It's like, wow, that's a bombshell in itself. And then you just move on past it. And then near the end, they try to bring it back up. But it's like, that moment didn't get to really hit. That was one of the problems with the movie, I thought. Like, the characters don't get to breathe as much as you wish they did in some parts.
Yeah. On a technical level, this is the full price. You know, it's almost better than sex on a technical level. Cinematic,
For me,
you know.
there's moments of better than sex.
Oh, yeah. Moments in here. Yeah. I even say it's Best Picture nomination worthy. Whether it needs to win or not, I don't know. But nomination, yeah. But the film overall, I can't say that I enjoyed being there for the whole 3 hours. I'm just being honest with you. You know, I'm sitting in that seat, and there's some people who will be immersed in this because they are watching it on the IMAX screen, and you'll be fine. You'll love every minute of it. That just wasn't me, man. Feeling that this could be shorter, I'm gonna give this a very high matinee. In my opinion. If you don't like it, suck a dick.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know, some people just don't be a dick about it. All right, just don't do that. Don't act like you're better than somebody.
Yeah. All right. So this movie, to me, is so powerful. It's a very moving film. At the same time, I think this is one of the most important films to date. Honestly, there is so much that I learned in this movie that I never learned when I was in high school, when I was in college. Christopher Nolan continues to show me why I feel like he's one of the greatest directors out there. He always brings the best out of his cast. His movies are always shot, to me, excellent. One character we didn't talk about, Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh, yeah.
Florence Pugh. Now, I liked her a lot, but I wish there was more to her character. The problem I feel with her character is that when it comes to her impact is more felt when she's off the screen, or her character's impact is felt more when she's off the screen. And I wish they would have done more with her. Now, I know half the time you see her, you know, she's butt-ass naked. But, that was one character I was like, damn, I really wish we'd have got to learn more about her.
There she is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what she's doing half the goddamn film. Crying. Yeah, that's what she's doing is crying. But look, I think this is one of those movies where I know you guys say you guys don't have to see it in IMAX. I feel like this is one of the movies where you need to see it in IMAX. Then just how great this, like I said, the shots are, how great the sound design is. I think just elevates this movie to a whole nother level. Just like other Christopher Nolan films, Tenet, Inception, all those. I feel like this is one of the movies where you might not get everything on the first watch. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it yesterday, I didn't. There was some stuff I didn't get, but I ain't gonna lie. It's 3 hours. I ain't finna rewatch. It does warrant a rewatch. And my biggest criticism is the same criticism you gave it, man. This movie is it's just too long. There's not a lot of movies out there that need to be 3 hours. You know, this movie for sure does not need to be 3 hours. I was having fun with this movie and really enjoying this movie until that 2 hour mark. And I was starting to look at my watch like, look, man, how much more time we got? But look, I know I was down on the review at the end, but I still had a lot of time. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of fun watching this film. And I really liked movies that I can actually sit down and actually learn something while I'm watching this film. I'm giving this, I'll give it a full price.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much on the same page with it. Christopher Nolan is a master filmmaker, even though I'd say there are moments in this movie where it is clearly a better than sex. But because it goes on for so long in that last 40 minutes, I'd have to just give it a regular old full price. Go to the movies and check it out. It's a movie.
No, I judge it by Would I go see this again? Would I even watch this again if it comes on TV? Probably not. Maybe certain parts. I know if I was studying like certain parts of filmmaking or something, there would probably be things here in this movie I would.
To the movie's credit, though, I think some of these scenes are kind of like how you were talking about The Dark Knight the other day, where it's like there's some awesome moments that I'll definitely go back and rewatch.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I do. Don't let me, because a lot of people want this to be a full price better than sex movie, because I didn't give it that. It's going to be something where people think I'm not favorable of the film, or I'm criticizing the movie too harshly. I don't recommend the film. That's not it at all. That's not it at all.
I mean, reviews are subjective. They're opinionated, man.
Yeah. And also some people saying, "Oh, Barbie gets the better opinion." People are two different films.
And
you don't judge movies by to compare them to each other. You judge a movie based on what that movie wanted to achieve, what that movie was doing. You base that movie on itself. You don't judge it based, comparing it to another movie, especially a movie that's way different from it. You judge it on the basis of its own self and its own goals. You don't sit up here and you don't compare Barbie to Oppenheimer and then say, oh, one is better than the other. No, it's not that. Not that at all. Those movies had two different goals. And they were two different experiences. So don't be an idiot.
But if you do want to go down that road of comparing it, Barbie was a more entertaining film.
You're gonna have more fun watching Barbie.
Well, definitely.
Again, you're going to two different experiences, though. One is meant to be just straightforward entertaining. One is to, and to a certain extent, inform. This one's more to inform. This is not here to entertain you. It's not. It's not there to it's not there fighting for your attention span. You either have it to watch this or you don't. And if you watch both these movies, you have two excellent movies coming out this weekend. As far as movies that have to say something, movies that are, and here's the theme between those two movies. You have two movies. One of the things you can say with Barbie and Oppenheimer, you have two big summer movies. These are considered to be blockbusters, and both of them are on a more intellectual level than most blockbusters that have come out this summer.
Definitely.
So yeah, man. Yeah, it'll be. Go see it, man. Go see it. It's definitely worth watching. I'll tell you that right now.